My name's Ross Caldew. I'm from Geomatic Technologies, and we'll just refer to us as GT for short. So GT is a recognised leader in advanced spatial and mobile technologies, and amongst Australia's leading providers of IT integrated solutions and services. I mean, what does that mean? Well, we work across a wide range of sectors, from government to utilities to transportation, and you can see a few of the other industries that we work across in there as well. We are based in Melbourne with offices in Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, and even North America. And you can learn a little bit more about who we are and what we do off our website once this webinar is over, so just go to www.geomatic.com.au. But today I want to talk about GT Loca Explore. And so what is GT Loca Explore? Well, GT Loca Explore allows you to ask location-based questions through a very easy sort of interface. And why would anyone really want to ask location-based questions? I guess in a business context, well, over 80% of business data has a location component, and some of the people that we speak to would argue that it's over 95%, because that location information in their business could be an address or a latitude and longitude of an exact location, or a location relative to a landmark or a point of interest. And I guess the advantage is that in your organisation you may have multiple single points of truth around customer address information, and coming up with a reliable location is a real challenge. So you may have an asset organisation or a department or a billing department, or even in your customer relationship management system, all have different versions of the same customer and with different addresses or different variants on that. So coming up with that one single point of truth is quite a challenge. And it can actually be expensive for the business to be working with invalid addresses. I mean, the amount of return mail that you may get, or just the confusion around where those customers are. And so the GT Loca Explore solution is designed to solve those problems. And it can do it by actually linking spatial data and or visualizing that data on a map, which a lot of people can understand. So who's using this at the moment? We've got a number of customers where they're either using it as a managed service or a SaaS, so software as a service, and a few customers who actually need to actually have the service deployed within their own organisation, and that means installing the software and having the data itself in their organisation for reasons best known to themselves. So it's actually it's got a couple of ways of being able to deploy it. For our SaaS solution, at the moment the hosted service is processing over 60,000 requests a day, so address validation requests, geocoding, etc. And from our batch offering, we've been able to batch process large records, right up to 10 million records, which is almost all of the addresses in Australia, and we've done over 1,200 batch jobs in 2010 alone. But I think the easiest way to sort of show you what GT Loca Explorer can do is by way of a demonstration. So what you're seeing on your screen now are the main features of GT Loca Explorer. And the first feature is called batch geocoding, which is where we take an existing customer address list, could I be a large one or a small one, and we essentially clean that data. So you can see that on the left-hand side there now. We've got some raw address data which has come in, and we want to do this by matching addresses against government data sets that contain authoritative addresses. So you can see the first phase is to parse it out. So here the geocoder has operated, it's parsed out some data, and we can see a couple of examples. So the two records that you're seeing on the screen here, it actually picked up that Grange Road wasn't in Glen Huntly, it's actually in Carnegie for that particular address, and the spelling mistake for Coringa Heights in New South Wales was actually an incorrect spelling as it was entered, and it was fixed up on the way through as well. And so the confidence levels that you're seeing there underneath those addresses allows the business to then make a determination as to what to do with that address data down the track. So, and we can explain, you know, how that address record was then turned into the record that it came out with, so what the match level was. So in this particular case, we could actually assign a location to each address, in this case get a latitude and longitude, and then display these addresses on a map. And this can be really useful to see where your customers are if you're putting customer data through this. And once you've batch geocoded existing address lists, you'll need a way to deal with new customer addresses as they arise. So we've talked about batch. So let's talk about a real-time GT Local Explore service, and this is what I want to demonstrate now. So in this example, I'm going to actually use the autocomplete feature, which could be embedded into any number of web applications, including simple web pages. I've just got it here in a map, just so that you've got an understanding of how I can play it. And I've chosen to just do it this way just for graphic excitement. So I'm going to type in an address at 7 Carters Avenue, Toorak. So as soon as I start typing in the first part of that address, it starts doing the matching. It gives me a number of results there, but if I continue to type a little bit more and really start to narrow it down, I can see that I'm getting 7 Carters Avenue, and I can pick it from the list. And it gives me the exact address that I was looking for. So I'm getting the correct address at the first point of contact with the customer, and I'm doing it in real time. So now if I'm going to click on this button just to the right of that panel there, I actually want to see where that is on the map. And so here, and I can do a little bit of zooming in and out and around, and we're using the Bing interface here. We could use any number. But once again, just to illustrate the fact that we've taken an address, we've validated it in real time, and been able to present that result. So what you will have noticed there is the pin is shown in a different location where other services may put it as well. So you can see how it's sort of facing Carters Avenue, but the actual delivery point may be at the other side of the block. So you can see it's got 2 street frontages. And so you actually may want to actually record an address point being in a different location to the default one that's supplied. And so that can be important, and let's explore that a little bit more as we go into the webinar. But before we get sort of too far down the track, I just want to explain how this kind of stuff works, and I'll just cover off that particular process. So in its simplest form, all you really want to do is ask a single question to a service and get an answer back. You don't have to go to multiple services. You just want to have that single point of entry. And so in this case here, we'll pass in an XML request which has the address geocoding or validation request, and there might be some other stuff in there as well, and that goes to GT Local Explore. GT Local Explore then goes and brokers the request into other services that it has, so it'll go through a parsing, then it'll go geocoding, and then it'll start validating those addresses against other forms. It may then go and look up other data services, some of those within the Local Explorer environment, or out over the cloud, and to determine not just textual responses, but possibly graphical responses as well, like a map. So this is all happening in real time, so it's a single request, the responses are coming back. Local Explorer can actually assess those responses and say, hang on, the request said, look, I really need greater than a 90% confidence on this particular address, then go and use another service. So it'll manage all of that, and what will come out of that will be a single response, and that single response can then be consumed by the application that's calling it. And so it's a really simple way of being able to build this into your environment without having to go and broker requests yourself, I guess.